what I'm saying is, hey everybody, welcome to day 5 of the Overfeeding Metabolism Experiment Summation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to post dinner photos after the fact, because what we wanted to do is come back. I'll do the summation now, but we'll include you with the sunset. Thought maybe you'd like to see the sun setting, the Aruban sunset as it were. So just to recap, started out with 2/3 of a box, family-sized great grains banana nut with almond milk. Meal 2, I had ciabatta sandwiches with the vegan cold cuts and the vegan cheese with all the spreads and the fixins of the bruschetta toppings. And then I had a large V8 splash. And then we just came from dinner Mexican, nachos and salsa, black bean soup, which is unbelievable. I'm going to post pictures. And a mutant Fred Flintstone sized burrito. Interesting enough, you take away the salsa and the cheese, add double guacamole and refried beans, boom! Great caloric infusion without all the intestinal colon hockey. So very, very cool. Are you guys on board? Because we want to show you something very cool. So we thought we'd come back and do it in reverse. I'll post the pictures of dinner after the fact. Check it out. We're getting a sunset. Come over here, right where I was standing. And the sun is a setting. There we go. Me and my big mouth, you missed about 5 minutes of it.
Okay, I'll spin it around.
Oh, go back to the sun.
Yep, I just wanted to show. Whoa.
So the sun has set here in Aruba. We got back from dinner. As I was talking to you, we had a full sun just tipping the water, barely tipping the water, and then as I was yada, it sunk down to 2/3. Hopefully you caught the last couple of minutes of the beautiful Aruban sunset, which we get to see from our oceanfront room every night. Thought we would include you on that. Pretty cool. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to post pictures of the dinner meal, Mexican at Iguana Cantina, which is right across the street, about 2 minutes away. We were trying to go live there, but the Wi-Fi wasn't having it, so too bad, because we had some good Mexican music. I was getting my groove on. So as far as the refeed goes, this is Jabba the Scott coming at you from day 5 of the refeed experiment. Yeah, Ange is feeling it more than I am, but definitely doing Jabba the Scott by now, enjoying the refeed. But yeah, it is, now it's not a chore yet, but it's definitely, a cumulative effect in terms of overfeeding. So it's an interesting feedback scenario. I don't know if you guys see any difference in me yet from the overfeeding. I'm not sure. And you follow it all year long, then it's good when you get away to get away. Recharge the battery so you can look forward to getting back on your program, so that when you're on your program, you aren't thinking you're missing out on something. Fear of missing out, that's a big thing, right? FOMO it's called, fear of missing out. So people who diet and never give themselves a break,
That's true.
they
Yeah.
start to resent things and the rest of it, and that's no good. So it's all about having the right headspace. So when I go on vacation, food indulgence is definitely part of it. What we're doing this time is we're just documenting it. You had my weigh-in before I left. We'll have my big fat fatty weigh-in when I get back, where the scale's gonna say, "Get off me! Get off me!" So we'll have that when I get back. We'll see what the difference is. We'll see how long it takes to come off. I don't know if you're seeing any difference in me or not. I don't really think I feel one. Hopefully you caught some of that sunset. We'll give you one last dust. Is there any comments I need to address?
Alice said that sunset stunning, looks like San Diego. Well, Alice, this looks like Perth, Western Australia. It looks like I haven't left home. And Tony said, good morning, Coach and Ange, and come to Thailand next. Geez, Tony, that's dangerous.
Well, I'll tell you what this sunset looks like. A Reuben sunset.
Yeah,
That's what
it
looks
is.
like.
It's just
So,
beautiful.
I'm sure there's great sunsets all over the world, but since we're here, we thought we'd include you. Any comments on the overfeed? I'm going to post pictures of the actual Mexican meal. So my warm-up was a Heineken, a Corona, and a Presidente, and then the black bean soup, nachos and salsa, although Ange kept smacking my hand away because she had to do a Hoover maneuver on those. And then a burrito that looked like a Fred Flintstone-sized burrito. Like I said, when you take out the sour cream and cheese, you put in the refried beans and double guac, it just sits better in the tummy. So, pitter patter, we'll get at her. Where's the comment?
Okay, your face does look fuller, but yeah, enjoy. Oh, he's had Botox. No.
My face might look fuller, but by the end of 2 weeks, I'm sure if you stick a pin in it, my head will explode. But we'll see what happens. It's all about having fun with this metabolism experiment and overfeeding. And the reason I'm doing this is so many clients in the past and so many people who write me torture themselves over a vacation experience, which should be absorbed and appreciated and indulged in because of time for every purpose under heaven.
And it's true. And as for a woman, you need to have that break. You know, I'm enjoying it.
A break from what you do just makes you appreciate that thing all the more. And what's wrong with that? So it's too bad that people torture themselves over such things because, like I said, we evolved to have a food orientation because of our love for food. So trying to pretend there's no such thing as that is a ridiculous concept. Where's the comment?
Okay, Tony says, Ange, how can you just witness all this? Yes, face looks rounder. Listen here, Tony, where are you? Coffee club? At the moment, I bet in Thailand.
Well, listen, it's not, Ange isn't just witnessing it. I mean, she's slapping my hand away from the salsa bowl and the nachos. So she's getting her Hoover maneuver on as well. Yeah. So any comments or questions? Cycle diet, extended refeed, overfeed.
Come on, bring it on.
More than happy to answer, even post live. I want to go live as often as we can now that we have a decent internet connection. We're going to try to do that. We had some internet problems the first few days. So that's day 5 in a nutshell. Really putting it back. There was a lot of food at this Mexican restaurant. Shout out to Iguana Cantina, which is right across the street. So we only had to haul our guts back about 2 minutes to get to the room to watch the sunset. And now we're going to waddle to bed.
No, you're taking the couch. I got to have the bed. I'm a fat fatty.
So this is Jabba the Scott signing out for day 5. That's the refeed, and stay tuned. Just go right now. Within the next 10-15 minutes, I'm going to post the drinks and the meal. We tried to go live at Iguana Cantina. It would have been really cool because of the music. I got my groove on. I got my salsa on.
Oh, God.
I was standing on the table. I was doing well. But no, seriously, the overfeed is on. I got a bowl of mixed chocolates for just before I go to bed. And I think it's going as it always goes for me on vacation. So we're documenting it. People can witness it and all that. But some interesting questions and comments. People asking me, any emotional hangovers or any emotional problems and things like that. These are great questions because it shows me where people are at, which is why I'm doing this. And that's a reflection. It's a sad thing for me to see that people are so tortured about living in a world of abundance. Yes?
Okay, find a vegan carrot cake and show us how it's done. Whoa.
Well, I might not do a vegan carrot cake, but I will do at the grocery store, Superfoods. Shout out to Superfoods. They did have a carrot cake, but they also had a pistachio cake that I bought and then I put back because I didn't think my guts were ready for it yet. It's not quite vegan, but it was, yeah, I'd have to dive into that and
It's
take
a
my
slammer.
time. We might even do that one live because, yeah, I mean, it was green and it was mean and it was begging to be eaten. So, yeah, we might do some of that actual eating live. So, that's a good thing as well.
Here we go. Alice got one. I asked the other day if you felt the effects of non-vegan and how you're feeling now. Remember, I was feeling ill.
Yeah, there's definitely effects. If you know, I talked about this in previous webinars with people who think they're gluten intolerant, but the actual thing is they've just avoided it for so long that when they put it back, they're not intolerant to the gluten per se, as they are intolerant to something they're not used to digesting. So definitely for people who go whole food plant-based, you start inadvertently having direct foods, depending on how sensitive your guts are with dairy and meat, then there could be some potential repercussions for that. But as long as they're inadvertent ingredients, I don't think it's too big a deal. But if they're direct, like if you went from 2 years of almond milk and tried to drink cow milk, I think you would definitely feel some intestinal, issues with that, definite colon hockey, et cetera, et cetera. So no, not necessarily
For me, it was.
the way you would think. You know, Ange noticed when she had cheese, or didn't bother taking the cheese off a couple meals early on, that she noticed the effects of that. It wasn't, easy digestive comfort. But this is what I'm saying. Something is easy, and it was easy with this mutant burrito that must have weighed 10 pounds. We took off the cheese and we took out the sour cream. But we didn't just leave it calorically empty. We replaced that with double guacamole and refried beans, which are both calorically dense, but plant-based. That's the difference. And, I'm still pretty flat-tummied. And I'm not being funny here. I am really actually pretty flat-tummied with all of it. So that's a great question. But I think if people bounce back and forth, they would have a lot more trouble with it. So definitely good questions. There seems to be a lot more interest in the cycle diet now as well because of this metabolism experiment. And if that's true, then I'm happy about that because the cycle diet is a great lifestyle to live. There's no nonsense. There's no mathematical formulas that you have to live by and torture yourself by. I call it the Hunger Games, death by numbers. Which is ridiculous. So I'm going to write an article about that when I get home.
And it's good for women and shift workers,
Yeah. So good comments, and a lot of people who've been on the cycle diet, been former clients of mine, current clients of mine who've been on the cycle diet for, 10 years, 12 years. They're chiming in about their experience as well. So maybe down the road we'll get future people to do a metabolism overfeeding experiment, extended overfeeding experiment as well, not just cheat day stuff. But actually extended refeeds and then see how long it takes them to come back to normal. And the scale may not even reflect normal. We might get back to normal and the scale might say you're still 3 pounds, 5 pounds heavier than when you started the refeed, overfeed. It doesn't really matter as much as the feeling of the impact. So what I always say, and I was going to hold this off for one of the final comments a week from now when the experiment ends, is choose the behavior, choose the consequences. If I choose the behavior of making indulging in food and being a foodie part of my vacation experience, then I choose the consequences that go with that. On the flip side of that coin, if you try to be a diet martyr on your vacation and you're miserable and guilty and shameful and you're trying to stick to a diet and ignoring embracing all of the potential joy that could come with not doing that on vacation, well then you're choosing that behavior and suffering those consequences as well. So it's not just physical, it's mental and emotional. Where do you want to be? And that's what the cycle diet is all about. It allows people regular cycles off of a diet day and regular extended times off of diet. By training your metabolism, the consequences are not so dire that you'll never lose that weight. That's sort of going to be the message in this when all is said and done. But really, it's about telling people not just to retrain your metabolism, but retrain your mind. We're living in a world of food abundance that's never going to go away. So how do you be butting heads with that constantly is never going to be something that's going to be workable and solvable and make you feel good about the world you live in and how you live in it. Plain and simple. So any comments or questions before I sign off?
No, pretty good. Pretty good.
Are we good?
Yep, yeah, all good.
Okay, so this is Jabba the Scott. We're going to show you one more dusk shot from the oceanfront room, the room with a view. Let's have a look. Join me.
Look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
You hear the sound of the waves and the palm trees blowing.
Back to you, hon.
Go to bed to this every night, wake up to this every morning. How can you not be recharged, refueled, re-energized, rebooted, retooled, and all of the above? So that's why I come here. For years I've been wanting to do a workshop here. I just don't know if people can afford it or people would follow through if I actually book conference rooms and hotels and et cetera, et cetera. But if that's an interest, we can talk about that another time as well. Someone can start a thread on that if they want. If you're interested, start a thread on maybe like a Able Retreat 2020. We can look into that. But that's enough of my shooting my mouth off. That's day 5 summation of the Overfeeding Metabolism Experience. And within the next 15-20 minutes, you'll see the dinner we just had on Facebook. We're going to post pictures, etc., etc. We'll see you in day 6. I got to go have some chocolate.
Ooh.
So this is Jabba the Scott signing off for day 5. How do you like me now?
See ya, everyone.